Today's show language is English. So let's start this show. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone to another exciting episode of Friendly Talks with Waseem. I'm your host Waseem and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you all here with us today. As you know, this is the place where we sit it back, relax and have some casual friendly conversation with some amazing people from all walks of life. So today is no exception, and I'm incredibly excited about our guest. She is dedicated and talented lady hailing from vibrant city of New York, USA. So let's give a warm welcome to our wonderful guest. Grab your cup of tea, sit back, and join us for what promises to be an engaging and enjoyable conversation. Thank you so much for being here with us today, despite your busy schedule. It's truly an honor to have you on your show. Uh, Verona, welcome to Friendly Talks with the Seam. How are you doing today?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I am doing great and I'm doing excellent because it is summertime. It is
Yes,
summertime.
yes, it's summer. So, so how is weather now in USA, New York?
Uh-huh. The weather is lovely. We have 83 degrees right about now. That's Celsius for
Okay,
you. For you, that's probably
okay,
40 degrees.
yes. But yes, it's hot. It's hot here, and where I'm living in Faisalabad city. But in some city, weather is good in mountain area. But I live in Punjab, Faisalabad, near to Lahore city, and equally Lahore, Faisalabad. Weather is hot. So let's start this session. So tell me, can you tell us a bit about your family and how you balance your responsibilities in home and office?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and balance is very important. We talk about balance. I like to talk about balance because when we are talking about balance, we don't pay attention, right? We got to pay attention to our mind because everything is in the mind. And when we get overwhelmed, we go into mental state and mental issue and all this stuff. I just finished talking about mental issue because May was Mental Health Awareness Month. So I
Mm,
just finished doing a lot of videos clip on that and that because it's very important that we stop. And for
mhm,
me, I like to stop and I like to pause and I like to count and say, okay, how many things do I have to do for the day? So I don't like to do a lot of planning. I like to do just like pop up. And I
mhm,
don't recommend this for everybody. You have to be in the mentality to do that. Me, I like to just pop up and do things. I don't, most of my stuff, I'm not planning. I'm not a planner where I'm going to put everything in order and say, okay, today I got A, B, C, D, one, two, three. No. I get up in the morning and routinely I do stuff. But somewhere in my routine, I detour and do something else. So when we want to create a balance, we have to remember that you don't have to continue the same routine every day. You can detour in there, take something out unless it's so required. Like going to your job, that's required, right? So going to your job is a requirement. Now I'm going to my job from 9 to 5, 8 to 3, whatever your schedule. But somewhere in that, pause. So my recommendation how to balance is to pause. Pause, pause, pause. Look at the thing from the other side, flip it from the other side, and see how you can see family, job, God. For me, I put God first for everything. God is first for me. So when God is first for me, everything else come after. I'm like, whatever.
mm,
Everything
mm.
else is like whatever for me. So yeah, that's how I balance. If I pause and then look from the opposite side.
Good, good, good. So, can you share some tips of on how to stay motivated and manage multiple responsibilities effectively?
How to stay motivated? Motivation, I like to talk about that because motivation is not about me telling you what to do. Motivation is about yourself. Motivation is where you deciding to move. That's what motivation is. You deciding to move out of where you are. Because every time we in something, you see, we oftentimes get into things and into life, and we get so evolved into life. And then when we get so involved in life, we forget. We forget that whatever is happening, we are going to be affected by it. So I always like to say this. Be content, but don't be comfortable. And that's where it is. When we're getting comfortable, now you're gonna need somebody like get up, get up, get up. No, it is individual where you're gonna say, you know what, this is too comfortable for me. Because when you're comfortable, that's boredom. Just to let you know that. When you're comfortable, it's boredom. Simply mean you're not stimulating your brain, you're not stimulating your mind. So motivation is an individual thing. Me personally, I like to just keep on talking to myself. Like Verona, you can do this, girl. You can do this. Pray, pray, please, pray, pray. Whatever you pray to, however you pray, 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 and get yourself moving. Motivation is moving. It's moving.
Great, great, great. First of all, I congratulate you and appreciate it for your YouTube channel. Are you free now? And you come with on your YouTube channel with good cause and with good topic, and I appreciate it. So I hope you will do this activity continue, and I always appreciate it. So. Uh, you talked about mental health, but what is the growth mindset and how is it different from a fixed mindset, and how to relate with mental health?
Growth mindset.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So mental health, when we hear about mental health, right? A lot of people associate mental health with somebody's going crazy, somebody nuts, somebody just all of that. But mental health literally affect everybody, like
Mhm.
everybody.
Mhm.
Mental health is basically saying stop for a moment, pause, and check how healthy your mind is. Because the very thing that we watch, the very thing that we say, the very thing that we think about, those are what contribute to how healthy our mind are. So if we are watching unhealthy stuff, if we are behaving in an unhealthy manner, then that's what's going to go in the mind. The mind is so powerful that the mind is a sponge or a magnet put together and it absorbs just about every single thing. Whether you're hearing it, seeing it, smelling it, tasting it, your mind is where that component is. It's sucking stuff. So when we're talking about healthy mindset, health awareness month, we want to be aware to check in on ourselves to see, is my mind healthy? What am I feeding my mind? Every day I get up, what I do, I feed my mind all the positive things. I set my goals in place and go after it. So when we are talking about negative things, that's not healthy for your mind. When we are talking about not being kind, that's not healthy for your mind. When we are talking about you're not loving your brothers and your sister, that's not healthy for your mind. When we are not talking about being peaceful to the next person, that's not healthy for your mind. Now listen to me now. Every day is not a happy day, right? So every time
Right.
you see me, you might see me with a bright smile and I'm going. But every day is not a happy day. But I choose. I choose to be happy. I choose because when we are talking about our health for our mind, it's about our emotions. It's about how you're dealing with your emotions. So I want to say to you, each and every one of you, your emotions are real. Did you know that? And
Yes.
your thoughts got voices. They do. Your thoughts are voices. Right now, I am talking to Wasim. And as I'm
Hmm.
talking to Wasim, Wasim might be thinking about, hey, what am I going to have for dinner? Oh, Wasim might be thinking, hey, what am I going to have for tea? Wasim probably thinking, oh, it's so hot. Oh, I'm going to go, what am I going to do tomorrow? What? Because those are the thoughts that are coming in Wasim's head. And same as you, audience, your thoughts are always moving. They're always speaking. You are the boss of your thoughts. Okay? You are the boss. So for you to develop yourself, for you to have mindset growth, is to come to the conclusion that you are the boss of your thoughts. Okay? You are the boss of your thoughts. You
Great,
want to have
great,
a
great.
healthy mindset.
So, why do you think having a growth mindset is important for learning and personal development?
Oh, it is important. Why is it important? Because guess what? When you don't grow, that means you're stagnant. That means you. If you consider this, Wasim, consider this, right? I'm a mom, so I know what it is to carry a child in my womb. Now that child is growing in my womb, and everything is in the same concept. Is this in the same concept? My child is growing, so if I don't feed my child's going to be like this, like a little peanut. Now, when that child get out of my womb, I still got to feed that child to maintain that growth. And it's the same thing as our mindset. Our mindset cannot be as a child. We cannot be adult, and if we are an adult and we're still 5 years old in our mind, it's time to check in, because simply mean there was some form of undevelopment happen in the mind. The brain didn't develop, because the brain and the mind, they're like this, right? So if the brain didn't develop, simply mean that as an adult and we are behaving as a child, it's time to go to the doctor to check in. So it's the same thing as us. We got to check in. How is our behavior? Right? We got to check in with ourselves. So it's very important that we understand that your brain, your mind, your body, your soul, everything need that growth. The same way you're growing physically, we got to check in with our mind to make sure that we are growing mentally.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, how do you react to challenges and setbacks? Do you see them opportunities or obstacles?
Absolutely. I love that question. I really, really love that question, because I just had this conversation probably 2 days ago, right? I love the conversation because oftentimes what happened, we see our setbacks, our challenges, our pain, our struggle, circumstances, we see them as, oh my God, like, no, I don't want to do this. But yes, it is very important that we accept this, because to get through life, life is not just smooth and candy and lollipops. Life is not just biscuit and cake and cup of tea. Okay. Life comes with hot and cold water. So for me, I know that I consider myself a conqueror, a survivor of a lot of things. So once I survive something, I see it, because when we're going through things, we don't see it. We don't see the purpose. And each pain, each struggle is a purpose. It's a purpose. So for you artists out there, if you're going through pain, struggle, your setback, saying, how am I going to pay for my child's school? How am I going to feed my children? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to finish my house? How am I going to this? At the end of the day, these are valid questions. But for you to get over it, there's something called trust. Trust God, trust the process, trust yourself, because there's always a story. There's always a story in the struggle. For me, I look at my struggles as power. When I rise, I look how powerful I can become. I look back over my shoulder and say, hey, I cried a little, I fussed a little, but now I am powerful. And when we start seeing that, we must see ourselves as powerful beings, knowing that every little thing, every little challenge, every little pain is a part of the process. Maybe you don't want to hear that. Maybe a lot of people don't want to hear that. Oh, Verona, no. Yeah. It is. It is a part of the process. I want to say to everybody right now that's going through something. You're going through sickness, you're going through pain, you're going through loss, you're going through all of that. I've been there. I've been there. Okay? I've been there. And if I've been there, hello, you're gonna be all right. You're going to be all right. One thing I want to say to you, don't give up. Don't give up.
Great, great. So, what are some strategies you can use to develop a growth mindset in your daily life?
What strategy I use? I'm a writer. I like to write things out. And I encourage people, everyone, get a pencil, get a piece of paper, small piece of paper, big piece of paper, doesn't matter. Write your thoughts out. I've been writing since I probably was 5 years old. I've been writing. And I write and I write and I write. And when you write things, one of the strategic way to get over stuff, to develop yourself even more, get life development books. Read and write. Read and write, they work together, right? Listen to positive people. Draw yourself closer to positive people. Write positive thoughts. Even when you're having a negative thought, write the positive thought, because everything there's an opposite, right? Waseem, everything there is an opposite. So if you're thinking negatively, write something positive about that. So
Yes.
these are just couple strategic way that I used, and I'm still using them to like get over all. Every time I get a little bump in the road, I call it little bumps in the road. It's like when you're driving, you're like, "Oop," you bump, you're like, "Er," right? You gotta slow down. You gotta slow down when there's a bump in the road. Slow down. Don't let your thoughts overtake you. Don't let your thoughts overtake you. You are the boss. I mentioned this already. You are the boss. Don't let your thoughts overtake you. Write them down, stop and think and gather them. Gather them and like, hey, be quiet. You know, right? So yeah, I use these, and I really encourage you to start using them as well.
Great, great, sir. So, how can teachers and parents support you in developing a growth mindset? How you see? Can you tell advice any to about teachers and parents? How can do it?
Oh, yeah, parents and teacher. I'm in those slots as well. Um, yeah, listen, parents and teachers. First of all, I want to go with parents. Parents, you are the first teacher of your children.
Mhm.
You're absolutely the first teacher of your children, your child, your children. You are the first teacher. You carry that child. You
Mhm.
are the first one that's saying A, B, C, whatever language you speak. You are the first one teaching them how to count. You are the first one telling them how to spell their name. You are the first one telling them colors. You are the first teacher. So there's something called vibration and energy. As a mother, if I am upset, then that energy is going to affect my child. If I'm happy, that energy is going to affect my child. So when I develop myself, my child is going to see that I am developing myself, because you are the first role model of your child. And when we do this, when we develop ourselves, we're not saying that, oh, go and be all fancy, dancy, and all sort of stuff. We're saying it goes from the mind. We're saying do not judge your child or compare your children, because you know sometimes parents have more than one, and then they're like, oh, you're my favorite, you're my favorite. Nobody's a favorite. Some just get more attention, right? Do not have a favorite child. Do not have a favorite child. It's just that some of your children, there might be one that said they need more attention, because it could be that child is sickly, that child learned differently, right? So that child need more attention. Parents, do not compare your children. And even if you have one, don't make a comparison between that one child with the next door neighbor. Don't make comparison. So now as we go to the regular classroom and we have teachers, I say the same thing to you. Do not make comparison with your student. Your student learn differently. Everybody learning is not the same. It is not the same. I want to tell a story. Wasim, do I have a time to tell this little story about myself? Growing up, for those of you who don't know, I'm from originally from Jamaica.
Mhm.
So
I
I
know.
like to talk about myself and my story, because my
Yes.
story is what get me to where I am today.
Yes.
Growing up, I came from a huge family. I mean, absolutely, I came
Mhm.
from a huge family. So I'm on the bottom of the list of the huge family.
Mhm.
But growing up, ever since I started school, I was always a top student. Always. I'm brilliant. I'm
Great.
just brilliant. So I'm always a top student in the school. I started school at age 4. I was
Oh,
already in school. So I'm
was
going to school and I'm always a top student and top student. I got to the grade four, and I'm still top student. Somehow in grade 5, there
mhm.
was another student that decided, hey, she's not going to be the top student this school year. And she worked hard. And I don't blame her. She worked hard because we should have our children work hard. And that girl worked hard. And that school year, I was never the top student. I got knocked out of my spot. And I was so upset. I was so upset the fact that I was not the top student that school year. I'm like, no, I'm always the top student. How could I not be the top student? I was upset that I did not talk with that girl. I'm like, nope, I don't want to talk to her. She's not my friend. And we were friends, okay? We were friends. I'm like, I don't want to be her friend no more. So I'm
Great.
telling this story to say that, listen, everybody learned at their own pace. But what I did, I said, I'm not talking to her. But the next school year, I went back to my top space. So yeah, so that was my story. But I'm telling this story to say teachers, because they put such a pressure on me to be the top student every year. So it was always a pressure. So parents and teachers, do not put such pressure on your children and your students. Because I mean, now I still have the mentality that I'm still a top student in life. I'm still a top student. So no matter
Yes.
what, I still have the mentality that I'm a top student. So I'm still going after stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Great. Great. So indeed. So what does the word humanity mean to you, and how do you see it reflected in your daily life?
humility. Oh my goodness. That is,
Mm,
it might sound like it's a small word, but it's not a small
mhm,
word. It's a big word. It is very important that we understand what humility means. To be humble, it simply means that you don't go into that place where that's, oh, I did this, oh, I did that, oh, I did this. It's because of me, oh, it's because of me, oh, it's because of me. No. So many people don't even know my accomplishment because I don't talk about it. I don't talk about the things that I have accomplished. Very little bit I sneak in something. So when I'm humble, I came from a humble beginning. Okay, I came from a poor family,
mhm.
and the main thing that my parents taught me is to put God first. Because when you put God first, that is a form of humility. If you're not putting God first, you are not humble. You are not being humble. So every single day, my parents' voice still prompts in my head, put God first. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're going after, put God first. So that's how I stay humble at all times. Everything that I do, God is in the front. So humility is very important for me because I'm not here to brag about my achievement. I'm not here to brag about anything. I'm just here to get to my goal, get to my destiny, and achieve my purpose.
Great, great. So, can you think of a time when you witnessed or experienced an act of kindness? How did it make you feel?
Oh, I plan this for myself. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
oh my goodness. There's something called superpowers, right? There's something
Mhm,
called superpowers, and we all have them.
mhm,
I am
mhm,
very kind. I have a very kind spirit. So
mhm,
when somebody's giving me kindness, it's kind of like throwing me off. It kind of like throwing me out of my bubble of being
mhm,
kind. And I remember just recently, this just happened like a couple days ago. I was paying a bill. I was getting ready to pay one of my regular monthly bill because here we have so many bills. There are so many bills, everyday life bills. So I was getting ready to make my payment on my bill. And I mean, this just happened probably about 4 days ago. And I'm still laughing about it because when act of kindness tickle me, it made me so happy. I was getting ready to pay the bill, and so am I getting ready to pay the bill. I called in, and I'm like, "Oh no, you don't gotta pay the bill. The bill is already paid.
mhm.
You don't gotta pay the bill." I'm like, "What? No, why? No, I need." They're like, "No, it's somebody paid for. Somebody paid for it. What?" So act of kindness for me is just happiness. It's a happy moment for
Yes.
me to do it and for somebody to give it to me. Yes.
I always see you happy, and it's good. It's good. So,
Yes.
I always see a positive vibes whenever I see you. So I got my cup of tea. You want a cup
I
because
just I just
this
finished up in
is
my
a friendly talk
smoothie.
show. So 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 go to the next question. So what are some ways you can spread positivity among your friends and family?
Oh, what are some ways I could spell positivity? First of all, you gotta be positive about yourself.
Mm, great.
That's number one.
Very
Like
important.
that is the main thing. Like you gotta be
Uh,
positive. You gotta think positive about yourself. If I don't
yes,
think positive about myself, I can't think positive about
exactly.
you.
Yes. It's simple.
That's like it. Like that's it. Like I must be positive. I must be a positive person for me to spread positivity. So no matter where I go in this world, I
Mhm,
have to be a positive person because positivity is like a light, right? It's
mhm,
like a light. So if my light is turned down, then it can't radiate, it can't shine,
mhm,
no matter where I go. So yeah, I'm all like, no, I'm a positive person. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I'm not faking it. I got to this point. Hmm.
mhm.
So that's all you need. The only way is for you to be positive to yourself. That's it.
Great,
Rest of that, minor.
great. So, how do you think social media affects people views on humanity and positivity?
Oh gosh, my Lord, Jesus. Yeah. Oh my goodness. My God. Social media is it the camping ground of negativity or is the camping ground for positivity? Okay, so listen to me. You got it's like social media is like pick your ground, pick your battle.
Mm,
It's like pick your battleground. That's what social media is all about. Every time you turn, there's a different form of social media. You have TikTok, you have Facebook, you have all these things, right? So everywhere you turn, like, okay, let me tell you something. There's so much good that you can do with social media. There's so much good. Put yourself out there. Again, it goes back to you being positive. So if I am not a positive person, and I am going to seek something on social media. I am not seeking positivity because I'm going to attract that's what I'm seeking. So if I'm a positive person, I'm going to be on social media looking for everything positive. If I'm a negative person, I'm going to look to see all the faults, all the worst stuff that they have in, and I'm going to find them like, yeah, that's right. Go ahead, do, yeah. Right? So it's so you gotta choose. You gotta choose your battle. You gotta choose your ground. You gotta choose your stomping ground. Like, where do you want to go? It's how you want to develop yourself. Is this, oh, you see somebody fighting, like, yeah. You liking the post, you commenting on the post, you're like, ooh. But somebody's giving a motivational speech. You don't even like the post. Why? Because it starts and stops with you. It's you gotta choose. You gotta choose social media. You gotta make your mark
mm.
in that in on social media.
Great. Thank you very much, Verona, for this wonderful session. Very informative. I hope people will get too much information about it. So I hope you will come again on this show. Did you like this show? It's
Sure.
very friendly and casual show.
Sure. Thank
Did
you
you
for
like this?
having me. Yes, it's always a pleasure to serve with you.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll
You're
see you
welcome.
again. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Oh, bye now. Let me go enjoy my weather.
Bye bye.